What I really love about fiction is how relatable and inspiring the characters can be. They reflect our own emotions, our own struggles, and they can inspire us too. So in this video I decided to collect all my favorite characters from animation, characters that I like most and who I find most relatable. It's not gonna be a long list, I only have a few characters here to dedicate more time to each and every character in this list. This list is in no particular order, so just enjoy. I'll start with Charlie Morningstar from Hazbinhotel. To be completely honest, I've been quite obsessed with this show since it premiered last year. The show is filled with remarkable and interesting characters, and the writers did such a fantastic job. It would take limited runtime into account. My favorite character is definitely Charlie Morningstar. I really love the message of the show. The message that anyone can be good, that everyone deserves understanding and a chance at redemption. This is a very important message, I think. It always bothered me that helluvaboss sorta normalizes killing when it's done by main characters, but hazbinhotel is the opposite. I like how Charlie doesn't want to harm anyone because she detests violence and believes that change can be achieved through compassion and empathy, and not through sheer violence and brutal force. She defends Serpentius in front of Veggie and Angel Dust when they're literally ready to murder him. She defends Angel in front of Valentina. Even at the end, she refuses to let her father kill Adam, who was committing genocide against her people each year and brought a huge army to tear down hazbinhotel. At the same time, Charlie is definitely not a one-dimensional character. She is very complex and she goes through changes throughout the show. Charlie starts off being extremely awkward and not knowing how to approach people. But then she grows as a person, becomes really confident in herself, and even rouses an army to defend Hotel against the exterminators. She becomes the true leader. She fixes her complicated relationship with her father Lucifer. She fixes her relationship with Veggie after learning that Veggie used to be an angel exterminator. Charlie empathizes with both Lucifer and Veggie. She understands them. She understands why Veggie had to hide her past from her. Charlie is a fantastically written character overall. She's someone that everyone should aspire to be like. Kind, compassionate, positive, and ready to defend people she cares for. Arcane is another show with so many complex characters. But by far my favorite is Jinx. I really love her, even though she does some horrible things working for Silco in season 1. But everything she does, it's really not her fault. She has been through so many traumatic events as a kid. When she was little, she lost her parents during the brutal confrontation between Zon and Piltover. When she got older, she lost her family again. This time she was abandoned by her only remaining family, her sister Y. She changed her identity and was raised by a violent cartel boss Silco. And she's not even 20 years old by the end of the show. Everything Jinx went through was too much for a kid. Jinx really can't trust anybody because everybody always betrayed or belittled her. Everyone she ever cared for. Despite hating everyone, Jinx was still craving her sister's love and her sister's approval. Jinx changed her name, became a new person, desperately wanted her sister to accept her as Jinx, not as Powder. And when Y refuses, Jinx feels like she truly lost everyone, and that's why Jinx completely loses it at the end of season 1 and bombs the Council of Zon. In the second season, her character growth continues. In season 1 we see Powder Jinx growing towards insanity and isolationism. In the second season, it's the opposite. We see how Jinx learns how to be open and how to care for people again, all because of Isha. Season 2 might not be perfect from a writing perspective, but Jinx's character arc continues and ends in a very satisfying way, making her an extremely compelling character that I just cannot not love. Probably my most relatable character in this list, it's Octavia from helluvaboss. I just relate to her so much. She's been growing up in an extremely toxic household because the marriage between her parents Stolas and Stella has been arranged and they probably never loved or cared for each other enough. Because Stolas couldn't find understanding and affection with his wife, he had to look elsewhere for that. He's been completely obsessed with Blitz even though Blitz didn't feel the same way initially. And because of obsession with Blitz, Stolas neglected his own daughter. Octavia really wanted and still wants to have a good caring father, but she feels betrayed by him. Yes, Stolas made attempts to reconcile with his daughter, but in most difficult moments he was more concerned about Blitz. Octavia finds antidepressants that her father used. It wounds Octavia severely because Stolas would rather use medicine to battle his depression than try finding comfort and understanding in his own daughter, who's always there for him. Stolas is definitely not a bad person, but he's definitely a terrible father at the same time. Octavia spends most of her time alone with only music and stars. Even Luna didn't become her friend after their heartfelt moment that they shared in the Seeing Stars episode. And Stella doesn't really care for Octavia either. Stella doesn't abuse her daughter, she just doesn't care. All she cares about is how to get rid of Stolas. Octavia is in a very hard situation emotionally, and as I also experienced toxic household and daddy issues, I perfectly understand how she feels, which makes me like her so much. Another helluvaboss character I would like to mention is Luna. To be honest, I positively dislike a lot of things about her, like the way she treats Blitz. I think Blitz, with all his various and obvious shortcomings, does not deserve such poor treatment from her. However, I do understand her, because most of the time I feel exactly the same way as she does. I understand her perspective. First, she did spend most of her life in an orphanage. We don't know if she was abandoned when she was born or later, but she literally spent her childhood in a cage. She was adopted by Blitz only when she was already 18 years of age. Since she grew up in a terrible orphanage where she had no friends at all, and probably experienced emotional abuse in some form, she doesn't know how to trust anybody. Very similar to Jinx, by the way. She doesn't know how to be open and sincere with people, and we see it multiple times in the show. Despite being very sexually liberated, she turns into a complete mess when she sees the only guy that she actually likes. She doesn't know what to do with her feelings. Nobody ever showed her what to do with her emotions. She feels embarrassed by showing sincerity and tries to mask her feelings best she can. She only opens up in front of Octavia because she can relate to Octavia. However, Una changes and opens up more and more. We see this in the season 2 finale, where she finally begins to treat Blitz with compassion. Maybe she'll be the one to convince Octavia that Blitz actually loves her. There are lots of similarities between these two characters. Luna resented Blitz until she finally realized Blitz does care for her sincerely, and Octavia is having the same character journey. This was my short list of my most favorite characters right now. I would like to mention some other characters I find relatable and likable, but I can't really write too much about them. Emily Blythe from The Owl House comes to mind. She tries to be a perfect student because of her mother's expectations, but once she meets Luz, she realizes that all she wants is to be herself, not satisfy expectations of her narcissistic mother. Starlight Glimmer from MLP creates a full-blown cult of equality because she was hurt as a child when her best friend Sunburst got his cutie mark first and left Starlight completely alone. Then of course there is Entrapta from the amazing She-Ra remake, who is a fantastic autistic representation, and I can certainly relate to all the awkward ways she interacts with people. That was my list. Share your favorite characters and have a good day, I guess. I really don't know how to end these videos, to be honest, so I should just shut up. Bye.